Moreover, he is only 5 years old now, and he has such strength, which is simply more demon than Kakashi. The strength has reached this level, and the things to be learned in the ninja school have already been learned, and Chiba does not want to waste any more time in the ninja school, and plans to apply for early graduation. On this evening, Kimushuumao's father and son rarely got together and ate together in the kitchen dining room. Dad, the basics of ninja school, I have learned almost the same, and I plan to apply for early graduation. Kinyi spoke his thoughts while eating. Kakashi was surprised to hear Chiba say this, not expecting Chiba to graduate early from ninja school. Chiba, you're going to break my record and graduate from ninja school earlier, Kakashi said with a smile, meaning to tease Chiba. When he was with his family, Kakashi always had a big smile on his face and was a sunny boy. In the original work, Kakashi's heart has become a lot darker because of Kikishuo's affairs, and there will be no smile on his face, and he wears a mask all day, wanting to hide his mood to the greatest extent. That's natural, but I'm going to surpass my brother's genius, Kinyi said with a smile, revealing a bright smile. Haha, you two are very good, it is my pride. Kimushuumao was in a good mood and laughed. Seeing his two sons have such achievements at such a young age, Shuumao will naturally be proud of this. Chiba, do whatever you want, graduate from ninja school early, you can officially become a ninja, but it's a pity that I can't stay in the village for a long time, and I'll have to go on a mission in a few days, and I can't attend your graduation ceremony, Kimushuumao said, with a hint of sigh and helplessness. Kimushuumao is also helpless, he has been doing things for the village over the years, and he has been on missions most of the time, but he has not been able to spare enough time to accompany his two sons, which makes him feel a little guilty in his heart. Fortunately, Kakashi and Chiba were very sensible and didn't let him worry too much, which was also what he was very satisfied with. Father, you don't have to worry, I will attend my brother's graduation ceremony then, Kakashi said sensibly. I'm not small now, these things can be done well, you don't have to worry, but Dad, you have to take care of your tasks. Kinyi opened his mouth and said, not being displeased by such a trifle. You two are very sensible, I am very gratified. Kimu showed a satisfied smile and was in a happy mood. For the next few days, Chiba's mind was not much on the ninja school, but on preparing materials and submitting them to the third generation of Hokage to apply for early graduation. 5 days later, a document appeared on the desk in Hokage's office. This is the information submitted by Chiba, as well as the application for early graduation. The third generation of Hokage sat in the chair behind the desk, looking at the application form on the table. His face was a little unhappy, and his smile gradually expanded. The Kiki family is full of geniuses. Kakashi graduated from ninja school at the age of 5, and this Chiba turned out to be 5 years old, and the time was earlier than Kakashi. 8th shook his head slightly, showed a wry smile, and spoke. Of course, Chiba shows genius talent, as well as amazing strength, naturally recognized by the 3 generations of Hokage. As long as he can pass the assessment, he can successfully graduate from the ninja school and officially become a ninja. After reading the information and the application, Sarutobi did not reject Chiba's application, but approved it and thought about what kind of assessment to give Chiba. This kind of talent is indeed outstanding, but it's still too young, and it would be nice if he could graduate early and send him to the dark department to experience it like Kakashi. 8th Riko put down the pen in his hand and said in a deep voice. But well, last time I let Kakashi pass the assessment easily, this time I can't let Chiba pass easily, I have to make it a little difficult for him. 8th Chopper spoke, a smile on his face. Soon, the news of Chiba's application for early graduation from the ninja school, like a tornado, quickly spread in the school and village, causing a great sensation. Have you heard? Chiba of the Kiki family applied to Naruto-sama to graduate from ninja school early. There is indeed such a thing. It is really a genius from the Kimu family. The Kimu family is really a master of 3 masters, and the future is immeasurable. The ninja who was drinking and chatting in the tavern couldn't help but be moved when he talked about this matter, and let out a sigh. The news spread all over the village and caused a lot of discussion, making Chiba a celebrity and receiving a lot of attention. Although the news that Kinyi will conduct a graduation assessment has come out, there is no news about the content of the assessment, and no one knows what will be assessed. Because I don't know what the content of the assessment is, it makes many people guess, and many people are curious about it, and they have a lot of expectations for it. Kinyi was about to undergo the graduation assessment, but he was not the slightest nervous, what to do, without the slightest pressure. With his current strength, if he can't even pass the graduation examination of the ninja school easily, then he can find a piece of tofu and simply crash to death. In the suburbs, which was ravaged by Chiba, trees and weeds were burned to ashes, and even the soil was burned black. Chiba was standing shirtless, standing in the scorched earth, his body emitting blazing flames and making a light noise. The blazing flames spread out and continued to spread towards the surrounding ground, forming fluctuations, like a tidal wave, which looked strange. Kinyi slowly raised his right hand, and the flames emitted were continuously mobilized, quickly gathered on his right hand, and gradually formed a fireball. The size of the fireball continued to expand, and it was supported by Kinyi with his hands and suspended overhead, like a sun, emitting terrifying fire energy. Great Yanja, Yandi! With his shout, the flames that originally erupted all gathered on the fireball, making the fireball even larger and the power more terrifying. If this fireball burst out, it would be enough to destroy a small hillside, and its power would be no worse than that of S-class ninjutsu. If Kinyi's grows up and his physique becomes stronger, then with his strength, it is not a problem to deal with N.A.N, and it is not difficult to save his life from the hands of a shadow-level powerhouse. For a child who is less than 6 years old, it is simply a monster-like existence, against the sky. As the fireball reached its maximum, Chiba did not blast out, otherwise, it would cause a lot of damage, which would inevitably attract the attention of the ninjas in the village, and even think that there was an enemy attack. Kinyi now has the ability to burn fruits, and can use ordinary attack methods, but methods such as elementalization and the Great Yen Ring still cannot be shown, otherwise, it will bring him a lot of trouble. Kinyi converged the flames, more sweat appeared on his forehead, and the whole person looked even more tired, almost slumped on the ground, looking panting. Tomorrow is the graduation assessment. As long as you graduate, you don't have to mess with those little fart children. Kinyi sighed and said, a little looking forward to what the assessment would be. Kinyi did not continue to cultivate, simply cleaned up, returned to the village, went to Ichiraku Ramen and ate 2 bowls of ramen, before returning home satisfied. Chiba, you have the graduation assessment tomorrow, are you ready? By the time Chiba returned home, Kakashi was already here and asking about the situation. It can be seen that Kakashi is still very concerned about this younger brother's affairs. The graduation assessment is just a trivial matter, don't worry at all, you haven't seen my strength, Kinyi said very casually, without the slightest pressure at all. It's also true, I can't beat you now, and there is no problem at all in passing the graduation assessment. Kakashi scratched his hair, laughed, and spoke. It seems that he is concerned about chaos. I also hope that the difficulty of the assessment will increase, otherwise I will pass it easily, which is really boring, Chiba said playfully, revealing a confident smile. The day when Chiba accepted the graduation examination finally came. On this day, many ninjas came to the ninja school early, and even most of the students in the school were present, ready to watch Chiba's graduation examination. Today is Kinyi's graduation assessment, I don't know what his assessment content is. A ninja spoke, looking forward to the content of the assessment. If Chiba can pass the exam, he will be the first to graduate from the ninja school and become the youngest ninja, which is really powerful, someone said with admiration. Now that Kinyi has not passed the assessment, you will praise him like this, and when he passes the assessment, it is not too late to praise him. Some ninjas said with disdain, feeling that although Kinyi was extremely talented, he was too young to pass the assessment at all, so he was so disdainful. In their opinion, it is already very rare for the Kimura family to produce a supreme genius of Kakashi, and it is impossible to produce another genius at the demon level. In the end, there are still many ninjas who do not want the Kimura family to have a higher status in Konoha. Konoha village is not as bright as it seems, and there are all kinds of dirty things in the gloom. Accompanied by Kakashi, Chiba arrives at the ninja school and walks alone to the #1 cultivation ground. At this time, in the audience of the #1 cultivation hall, many ninjas and students in the school had already gathered, preparing to watch Chiba's graduation examination. Kinyi stood in the cultivation field, being watched by everyone in the audience, without the slightest nervousness. His expression was calm, as if he was a natural superstar, enjoying the moment of everyone's attention. After waiting for a few minutes, the 3rd generation of Hokage, accompanied by 2 upper shinobi, appeared on the high platform, his expression calm, and landed on the body of Chiba in the center of the cultivation field. I don't know what assessment Naruto-sama arranged for Chiba. Seeing the appearance of the 3 generations of Hokage, some ninjas became excited and couldn't help but talk. Because until now, no one knows what kind of assessment content the 3 generations of Hokage arranged, and they are still selling passes, which whets everyone's appetite. Kimu Chiba, are you ready to take the graduation assessment? The 3rd generation Hokage looked at Chiba and spoke, his voice calm. Ready to start. Kinyi said calmly, a confident smile on his face. Okay, I'll announce Chiba's graduation assessment, and start now. Ape Flying Sun said. As his voice fell, 3 ninjas appeared from different directions of the cultivation field, walked to the cultivation field, stood in different positions, and formed a wrap around Chiba. No, it's just a graduation exam, and 3 ninjas were actually dispatched, which is much more difficult than when Kakashi was. Although Chiba's talent is outstanding, after all, he is a 5-year-old child, and it is not bad to be able to deal with 1 ninja, let alone 3 ninjas. Is it really appropriate for Naruto-sama to arrange such an assessment? Seeing the 3 ninjas walking up to the cultivation field, everyone standing in the audience couldn't help but get excited, and they all made their own comments, and even held grievances for Kinyi, unable to accept this situation. Chiba, your graduation assessment this time is to hold on to 3 minutes in the hands of 3 ninjas. If you can stick to it, then you can graduate early. If you can't persist, continue to study in the ninja school. Can you accept it? The third generation of Hokage did not care much about everyone's opinions, his gaze kept falling on Kinyi, and he spoke, his voice exuding a kind of majesty. Hearing such a request from Ape Flying Sun Chopper, Kinyi was not surprised, his expression was still very calm, and he did not waver in the slightest. No problem, I accept such an assessment. Kinyi opened his mouth and said, although his figure was not tall, standing in the field, he seemed to be very tall, not like a child at all. This kid is so confident, he actually dares to agree, he really thinks he can pass the assessment. Hee, there is a good show to watch now, if he can pass the assessment, it will be really amazing. Everyone sighed, looking forward to Kinyi's performance, whether it could bring them surprises. Little ghost, you can't help but underestimate us too much, don't you put us in your eyes? A shinobi walked over, pulled out the tie knife tied to his back, shook it in his hand, flashed a cold light, stared at Kinyi, and spoke. The hair has not grown yet, and if you want to fight us, it is impossible. The other shinobu spoke, revealing disdain. The third ninja with a mask, silent and did not speak, slowly walked over, maintaining a high degree of vigilance. I haven't fought yet, how can I know the result? If you want to teach me a lesson, then don't be verbose, otherwise, you won't have a chance. Kinyi glanced at the three ninjas and spoke, with a frivolous meaning. Good boy, it's really arrogant, I see what capital you have. The ninja holding the sword stood up coldly, without the slightest hesitation, immediately took action and rushed towards Chiba. Seeing the other party rushing over, Kinyi did not have the slightest fear, but revealed a sneer. For this kind of assessment without the slightest difficulty, no suspense, and no challenge, Kinyi does not want to waste time, and wants to end the battle quickly and pass the assessment. In the next instant, Chiba cast the Navy 6 style shaving, and in the blink of an eye, he disappeared in place, making people unable to capture his figure at all, as if he disappeared out of thin air. Seeing Chiba disappear in an instant, the ninja standing in the audience was immediately surprised, and he did not expect that a 5-year-old child could have such a means, which was really unexpected. Chiba's figure reappeared, approaching the ninja holding the sword, like a ghost. You don't see it enough. Kinyi spoke, his voice cold. When Kinyi spoke, his tone was arrogant, and he didn't put the ninja in front of him in his eyes at all, with a contemptuous look. Because he has full self-confidence, he will be such arrogant capital. After Kinyi approached, he used his physical skills and attacked strongly. The ninja armed with the sword was horrified and tried to dodge or defend, but there was no time to react and could not dodge. Boom! Kinyi quickly attacked over, directly knocked out the ninja holding the sword, fell to the ground, and rolled 3 times in a row before stopping. This shinobi suffered such a heavy blow, immediately lost his combat effectiveness, his eyes were black, and he passed out. Almost in a breath time, Kinyi solved one shinobi, then the opponent was only 2 people left. It's too fast, and he actually solved one person like this. Someone sighed and said, I really didn't expect this to be so. They originally felt that Kinyi was a genius, and from the Kimmo family, even if he was young, his strength would definitely be good, but they didn't expect that Kinyi would give them a bigger surprise. The other 2 ninjas in the cultivation field, seeing that one of their partners was defeated, immediately became awe-inspiring, and did not dare to underestimate Kinyi. They must pay attention, otherwise, they may really be defeated. Can't be careless, let's go together. The subordinate who had looked down on Chiba before, opened his mouth and became serious. He took out 3 kunao, quickly threw them towards Chiba, then ran chakra, quickly sealed his hands, cast ninjutsu, and attacked Chiba. Seeing that Ku Wuxiang attacked him, Kinyi did not panic, but still cast a shave, and easily dodged and dodged. Shadow Doppelganger Art. After avoiding Ku Wu, Kinyi sealed and performed the Shadow Doppelganger technique. With a soft sound, a doppelganger who looked the same as him and had equal strength appeared next to Kinyi. Seeing Chiba perform the Shadow Doppelganger technique, many ninjas in the audience were in an uproar, causing a sensation. He practiced the art of Shadow Avatar at such a young age, I can't believe it. His talent is really demon. Many people sighed and were amazed by Kinyi's talent. The 2 ninjas who approached Chiba saw him perform the Shadow Doppelganger technique, and their hearts also made waves, and it was a little difficult to calm down. They really dare not slack off now, and they must go all out. After performing the Shadow Doppelganger technique, Chiba rushed towards the 2 ninjas separately and took the initiative to attack. Fire Fist. Chiba attacked the ninja whose hands were sealed, ready to perform ninjutsu. As he swung his right fist, a stream of flames burst out, like a fierce beast, attacking towards the opponent. Rumble. The seal of this lower ninja was not complete, and the ninjutsu could not be performed, and it was attacked by the fire fist, and the whole person was blasted out, rolled several times in a row, withdrew more than 10 meters, passed out, and lost its combat effectiveness. Everyone originally thought that if the 3 ninjas joined forces, they would make Kinyi have no way and could not pass the assessment, but Kinyi showed strong strength and suppressed the 3 ninjas, forming a one-sided situation. Moreover, from the beginning of the battle to now, half a minute has not passed, and 2 shinobi have been solved. After Chiba defeated the 2 shinobi, he did not pause, but still cast a shaving, quickly went to join the shadow doppelganger, united the shadow doppelganger, and attacked the third ninja together. This ninja wearing a mask gives Chiba a feeling that he is stronger than the other two ninjas, perhaps not a shinobi, but a middle ninja. However, even if Naka Shinobu made a move, he still couldn't change the result and couldn't defeat Chiba. Wind escape, wind cut. The ninja wearing the mask saw the two shinobi being defeated one after another. His heart was awe-inspiring, his expression was solemn, he did not dare to underestimate Chiba, and burst out with all his strength. He ran chakra, turned his right palm into a palm knife, and attacked Kinyi and the shadow doppelganger, but he could emit not weak power. In the face of the opponent's attack, Kinyi did not shake hard, and the force under his feet, the whole person rushed into the air, came to the top of the opponent's head, and another fire fist, roaring out, rushing towards the other party. The masked ninja saw the fire fist attack coming down, knew that this attack was powerful, did not dare to slacken, and quickly retreated back. Rumble! The powerful fire fist attacked, and blasted a large hole in the ground, producing great power. Even though the masked ninja was able to dodge the attack, the impact of the fire fist was very strong, which still affected him, and the whole person fell back. However, before he could adjust his state, Kinyi cast a shave, appeared like a ghost, and came to the other party. In the next instant, Chiba's right foot swept out and landed directly on the face of the masked ninja, kicking him out with one kick. This attack, although it will not make the masked ninja unconscious, but for Chiba, it is enough. Seeing the body of the masked ninja flying out upside down, Kinyi did not stop, but quickly rushed over, took out a shuriken, and held it in his hand. By the time the masked ninja's body fell to the ground and had not been able to stand up, Kinyi was already approaching, and the shuriken in his hand was against the opponent's throat, exuding a cold aura. If Kinyi wants to kill the other party, as long as the shuriken stabs forward, he can erase the other party. Do you want to keep fighting? Kinyi looked at the other party, smiled slightly, and spoke. You win. The masked ninja spoke, surprised by the strength Chiba displayed. In this graduation examination, Chiba showed enough amazing combat skills, and defeated 3 ninjas with a crushing posture, including a ninja of the middle ninja level, showing great strength. The 8 Flying Sun chopping standing on the high platform was also surprised to see the strength displayed by Kinyi, and did not expect that the latter had this level at this age, which was really a very terrifying talent. He originally thought that Kinyi could survive the assessment under the siege of 2 lower ninja and 1 middle ninja, and he could pass the assessment, but he did not expect that Kinyi defeated all his opponents, and he still used almost perfect combat skills. The Kimu family, really all of them are out of some demons. Sarutobi sighed and said, but he was also happy about it. With the demon talent displayed by Kinyi, if he grows up in the future, he must be a strong person, and even be able to reach the height of Kimu Shuumao, which is a very good thing for the village, and can protect the safety of the village. And everyone standing in the audience was also shocked, looking at the figure of the child in the cultivation field, and felt unbelievable. A 5-year-old kid actually defeated 3 ninjas, and it took only a minute to win. Rumble! After a short silence, the crowd in the audience erupted and exclaimed, Kimu Kinyi is really powerful, easily defeating 3 shinobi. He's only 5 years old, and he has this kind of combat power, it's simply a monster. Kimu Shuumao gave birth to 2 demon sons. Everyone exclaimed their own exclamations, they really couldn't calm down, they couldn't calm down. Kimu Chiba defeated 2 lower shinobi and 1 middle shinobi, and passed the graduation assessment with excellent results. 8th Fari took a step forward and announced the results of the assessment. Hearing 8 Flying Sun Chopper say this, many people reacted. Kinyi fought not only with lower shinobi, but also with a middle shinobi, and couldn't help but be shocked, and once again made a new assessment of Kinyi's strength. At this moment, in the eyes of everyone, Kinyi is undoubtedly a demon, but also a rising star, and the light is brilliant. Standing in the corner of the audience, a tall man, wearing a dark red ninja suit, carrying a long sword, wearing a ninja brace on his forehead, covering his right eye with a bandage, and 2 cross scars on his chin, was looking at Kinyi on the cultivation field. His eyes became sharp, as if he had found a good piece of jade, intending to receive it and polish it. This person is Danzo, who is in charge of the Konoha Root organization, a disciple of the 2nd generation Hokage, and Sarutobi Hinata used to be teammates, but now he is a rival. For a long time, Danzo wanted to be a Hokage, but he was sat in that position by Sarutobi Hibi, so he had some grudges against Ape Hibiki. However, he has not given up on this idea and has been working hard for it. Kiki Chiba, it seems that he is even better than Kakashi. If he can recruit him to the root, it will definitely be a good harvest for the root. Tuan Zhang muttered in his heart, a cold smile on his face. Once, after seeing Kakashi show amazing talent, he moved his mind to include Kakashi in the root organization, but was blocked by Sarutobi Hibiki, causing Kakashi to join the Dark Division. This time, no matter what, he was going to get Chiba. Kinyi, your talent is very good, and your strength is very good, but you can't be complacent. After all, you are just starting on the road of ninja, you must remain humble and work harder to go further. 8th Fei Ri Chopper opened his mouth and said, this is an instruction to Kinyi. Chiba understands and will continue to work hard. Kinyi nodded and said. He felt in his heart that when a Flying Sun Chopper said this, maybe there was something to say later. Chiba, are you willing to join the Dark Ministry? This is a very good opportunity for you, and your brother Kakashi is also in the Dark Ministry, and you two brothers can go on missions together in the future. After the ape Flying Sun Chop groaned slightly, he opened his mouth and said about this matter. Like Danzo, Sarutobi felt that Chiba's talent was amazing, even better than Kakashi, and such talents must be recruited under his command. Ape Fei Chop had just finished the graduation assessment, so he said this matter. He wanted to take a step ahead of the group, prevent the Root organization from making another move, and rob Kinyi. For the former teammate Tuan Zhang, Ape Flying Sun Chopper knows very well, knowing that after the former sees Chiba's talent, he will definitely move his mind and draw Chiba to the Root organization. Therefore, he has to take the lead now, so that Tuan Zhang has no way. Although the Root organization is a branch of the Dark Department, all the power falls into the hands of Tenzo, which is his exclusive organization, and Sarutobi has no power transfer at all. Sarutobi did not approve of the concept of the Root organization, and there was a big difference with Tuan Zhang. Moreover, over the years, although the Root organization has cultivated many talents, it has also let no fewer geniuses die. After all, the Root organization is too extreme. Ape Flying Sunko, you bastard. Hearing the words of the 3 generations of Hokage, Tenzo suddenly couldn't calm down, and cursed angrily in a low voice. For a long time, Tuan Zhang took a fancy to some geniuses in the village and wanted to join the Root organization and work for him, but they were all cut in by Ape Fei and brought all the talents into the Dark Department, which was not controlled by him at all. Because Sarutobi sat in the position of Hokage, in many things, he has greater power and has the right to make decisions, which makes Danzo very helpless. Now, Sarutobi's son Chopper openly sent Chiba to the Dark Department, which made it impossible for the Root organization to strike directly, and if he invited again, it was estimated that it would have little effect. I must get my hand on this Kinyi, no matter what means I use, Tuan Zhang said in a low voice. His tone was firm, and it seemed that he had made up his mind. And many ninjas in the audience were also surprised to hear the words of the Ape Flying Sun. They didn't expect that as soon as Chiba passed the graduation examination, Lord Hokage would openly solicit him, but few people had such treatment. After being established from the ninja school, just passing the graduation examination, he was recruited into the Dark Department, and only Kakashi, and then Chiba. The fame of their 2 brothers is now very large, and they can be called the twin stars of Konoha, shining brightly. The 3rd generation of Hokage is really anxious, probably worried that I will be recruited by the Root organization, so take advantage of this opportunity to take the lead. Kinyi muttered in his heart and speculated. Chiba, are you willing to join the Dark Ministry? Sarutobi asked. I am willing. I can compete with Kakashi in the future, and I can also go on missions together. It's good to think about it. Kinyi did not hesitate and gave the answer very clearly. Okay, you come to my office tomorrow, and I'll tell you specific things, Ape Flying Sun said. Without hesitation, he turned away, rushed back to the office, and continued to deal with business. After this examination, Kakashi was the first to enter the cultivation field to celebrate Chiba's graduation from the ninja school, and he joined the Dark Division. Chiba, how do you feel about passing the graduation assessment and graduating from the ninja school ahead of schedule? Kakashi asked with a smile. After all, he used to come over like this, and he would have many of the same feelings as Kinyi. Finally, I can stop going to class, I can get rid of these ignorant little children, and I feel that the world has become very vast. Kinyi was in a good mood and said with a smile. Haha, the same idea as me, those little fart children will fall in love early, it's not interesting at all, that's why I feel bored and graduate early. Kakashi laughed, feeling that Chiba was like him, and indeed a brother. Hearing Kakashi say this, Chiba suddenly felt that this guy in front of him, who was still a little brat, was just like himself. He had crossed over, otherwise, his mind would not be so mature, and he actually saw through the relationship between men and women. Go, I passed the graduation assessment, let's go down to the restaurant to celebrate. Well, I'll treat you, Kinyi said boldly. Well, I'm not going to be polite and I'm going to eat you poor, Kakashi readily agreed. The 2 children, like adults, swaggered out of the cultivation field and walked towards the restaurant, eating happily. At noon the next day, Chiba came to Hokage's office. The first time I saw Hokage alone, my mood was inevitably a little nervous, and Chiba stood in front of the office door, took a deep breath, and raised his hand to knock on the door. Toot, toot, come in. Hearing the knock on the door, the 3rd generation Hokage did not stop reviewing the documents and spoke. Kinyi did not hesitate, pushed the door into the office, came to the desk, and stood in front of the Ape Flying Sunday. Kiki, Chiba has seen Naruto-sama. Chiba saluted slightly, his expression calm, and at the same time showed enough respect for Hokage. You don't have to be rigid. Ape Fei waved his hand. I called you here today to tell you about joining the Dark Department. He didn't beat around the bush and went straight to the point. With your talent, joining the ninja squad under the guidance of Kami Shinobu may be the most appropriate thing, but I want you to join the Dark Division. Don't you have any doubts? Fei Riko put down the document in his hand, raised his head, looked at Qin Yi, and spoke. Since you invited me to join the Dark Ministry, it will definitely not harm me, and I am still young. There are many things that have not been considered. Naruto-sama naturally sees it more thoroughly. I think joining the Dark Department is my best choice. Qin Yi thought slightly and said. In fact, for Chiba, joining the Dark Part, directly being dispatched by the Hokage, and being able to perform various tasks is the best choice now. After all, unlike other ninjas, he needs to be guided by N.A.N in order to quickly improve his strength. If Chiba wants to improve his strength, he relies on the One Piece system, which is the most convenient and fast thing, and he can obtain the abilities in different One Piece by completing various tasks. It's rare that you have such an idea. I plan to let you join the Dark Department, first exercise for 2 or 3 years, and then arrange N.A.N to guide you, so that it will be of greater help to your future development. Ape Flying Sun Chopper did not hide it and chose to confess to Chiba. With Chiba and Kakashi's talents, it is worth cultivating, and Sarutobi is willing to spend more resources on them. Follow Naruto-sama's arrangement, Qin Yi said. If you join the Dark Ministry, then I will arrange for you to be in Kakashi's squad, and you two brothers will work together in the future to contribute to the village, Ape Flying Sun said. Well, when can I report to the Dark Department? It should be very good to be able to work hard with my brother. Qin Yi nodded and said, and had no opinion. If there is no problem, then you can report to the Dark Department tomorrow and follow Kakashi over, Ape Flying Sun said. I see, Chiba responded. By the way, you have passed the graduation assessment, now you are under patience. You should also have your own protective head. I have prepared one for you here. Sarutobi picked up the forehead guard that had been prepared in advance and placed on the desk, got up from the chair, came to Chiba, and handed the forehead protector to the latter. In the ninja world, only those who are a ninja are eligible to wear a brace, which is a symbol of ninja status. Thank you, Naruto-sama. Qin Yi took the forehead from the Ape Flying Sun Chopper and said gratefully. Okay, I don't have anything to do here, go get busy with your business. The Dark Department welcomes you. Ape Fei Riko reached out and touched Qin Yi's head and said with a smile. Such a demon-like genius, Ape Flying Sun Chopper really hopes to see Qin Yi grow up quickly and become the mainstay of Konoha. Ape Flying Sun cut down for the village, which can be regarded as doing his best. Chiba answered, did not linger in the Hokage's office, and left alone. The host becomes a shinobi, completes hidden missions, earns 1,500 points, and the moon step of the Navy 6 style, continue to work hard. As soon as Chiba walked out of the Hokage's office, he heard the voice of the One Piece system ringing. Anyway, there is still a long time today, it is better to cultivate and hone the moon step. Qin Yi muttered and made a decision. Without hesitation, he walked towards the outskirts of the village. From the moment Chiba left Hokage's office, he was watched in the shadows and followed him to the suburbs. Although Chiba is just a child, he has a strong perception, and from the time he is targeted, he senses it and has an uncomfortable feeling. I don't know who it is, but he set his sights on me so quickly. Could it be Tuanzang, the sworn opponent of the Ape Flying Sun? Qin Yi pondered in his heart. The more he thought about it, the more he felt that it was possible. After all, Tenzo was in charge of the Root organization and wanted to recruit extremely talented members. Just keep you going and see what you want to do. Qin Yi muttered in his heart, his expression as usual, as if he was nothing. He did not change his mind and continued to rush to the suburbs. You can come out, I have long found out that you are following me. Chiba came to the outside of the suburbs, stood in the clearing, turned around, and said to the woods. As Qin Yi's words fell, there was a movement in the woods, and then 3 figures rushed out of the woods and landed a few meters in front of Qin Yi. The 3 ninjas were dressed in black, with colorful and hideous masks on their faces, covering their true faces, and carrying swords. These 3 ninjas are members of the Root organization, and this time they accept Danzo's order to bring Chiba back to Root's base. If Chiba can be brought back to the base of the Root, then Danzo has a way to get Chiba to join the Root organization and serve the Danzo. After all, the Root organization is not just an operational assassination team, but also doing other things in secret, including some experiments and concocting some poison. Although Qin Yi is just a child, he has a mature soul, and he is still an open existence, naturally sees through many things, and knows that the people of the Root organization are not good stubble, let alone return to the base with them, otherwise, it will only make things more troublesome. Little ghost, you're pretty good. Being able to find us is better than some of the lower ones can be robbed. The member of the Root organization standing in the middle looked at Qin Yi and spoke. If you look at me like a ghost, I think you'll regret it. Qin Yi looked calm and said calmly, without the slightest fear. The strength of the members of these 3 Root organizations is not bad. It is estimated that they have reached the level of middle ninja, and they have carried out many assassination missions, but if they want to deal with Qin Yi, they are still far away. Master Tuanzang wants to invite you to go to the Root organization. Don't try to resist, come with us, otherwise you will only eat more flesh and skin. The member of the Root organization spoke, his voice showing a trace of coldness and irresistibility. In their opinion, even though Qin Yi has a good talent, after all, He is still a little ghost, his strength will not be strong. If N.A.N wants to resist, it is impossible, he will only let himself suffer. Sorry, I don't have time now, I have to rush to cultivate. N.A.N shook his head and said, refusing the invitation of the root organization. It's not a wise idea for you to refuse us like this. Since you refuse to come with us, then we will do it ourselves. The members of the root organization spoke, and let out a snort. They were decisive, and after making a decision, they did not hesitate, and the 3 members took action, wrapping N.A.N from different directions and launching an offensive. 3 members of the root organization rushed over, 1 drew his sword, and 2 quickly sealed and launched an offensive. It's up to you, it's still far from it, N.A.N said playfully, not afraid at all. His eyes flashed with cold light. In the next instant, he took action, launched the Navy 6 shave, and the whole person disappeared from the place and appeared as a member of the root organization who drew the Taideo. The members who drew the Taideo, before they officially launched an attack, saw N.A.N appear like a ghost, and couldn't help but be shocked. They were surprised, they didn't expect N.A.N's speed to be so fast. However, he also has a lot of actual combat experience. In the face of such an attack, there is no thought of retreating, but drank up, rushed forward, approached N.A.N, waved the sword in his hand, and slashed strongly. In the face of the attack of the members of the root organization and the slashing Taideo, N.A.N's expression was still calm and did not panic. He quickly took out a shuriken from the satchel around his waist and held it in his hand to resist the slashing sword. Boom! The sword and shuriken collided together, making the sound of metal clashing, and sparks burst out. The other 2 members were a little surprised when they saw N.A.N appear in front of the 3rd member, but they did not panic, and immediately changed direction and walked towards N.A.N. When the shuriken and the Tai knife collided together, N.A.N used the power of this impact, and at the same time cast a moonstep, quickly twisted his body, and swept towards the opponent's head with 1 foot. The member of the root organization holding the Tai knife saw N.A.N's right foot attacking him, and his eyes behind his face couldn't help but widen, revealing a look of trepidation. He didn't expect that under this circumstance, N.A.N would be able to launch such an attack, which was really unexpected, and he didn't expect it at all. Because N.A.N's attack speed was too fast, the other party could not dodge at all, and was swept by N.A.N's kick, and the whole person flew out upside down. Seeing the other party flying out upside down, N.A.N did not intend to let the other party go, quickly cast a shaving, quickly chased over, and continued to appear beside the other party. N.A.N appeared beside the members of the root organization, and without the slightest hesitation, a flame erupted from his right hand, smashing down the opponent's body. Boom! The members of the root organization suffered such a heavy blow, they could not withstand it at all, and they hit the ground directly, smashed out a mud puddle, screamed, and passed out, unconscious. N.A.N used the fastest speed to solve a member of the root organization, reducing the pressure on himself, showing enough strength to make the members of the root organization fearful, so that the opponent did not dare to underestimate him. The remaining 2 members of the root organization were shocked in their hearts when they saw that a teammate was easily defeated by Chiba, and they really did not dare to underestimate their opponents. When they rushed towards N.A.N, they did not hesitate in the slightest, and did not intend to show mercy to their subordinates, and they had already run the chakra, their hands sealed, and each of them unleashed different attacks. Fireball art. After the seal was completed, a member of the root organization spewed chakra out of his mouth, forming 3 football-sized fireballs, each attacking Chiba from different directions, not allowing Chiba to easily dodge. Wind escape, wind ahead. Another member of the root organization, casting the wind escape ninjutsu, spewed out the wind attribute chakra from his mouth, forming thousands of small wind blades, attacking towards N.A.N, densely packed, almost occupying this space, unable to dodge. N.A.N activated the ability to burn the fruit, his body twisted, and then a furious flame erupted, forming a wall of fire, resisting the attacks of the 2 members of the root organization. The 2 members of the root organization originally thought that with such a ninjutsu attack, they would injure N.A.N to a certain extent, but they did not expect that this result was still unexpected. However, in this case, they must not be allowed to be stunned, and they must continue to attack in order to defeat Chiba, otherwise, it will be them who will be defeated. Fire escape dragon fire art. The members of the root organization immediately sealed their seals, quickly cast fire ninjutsu, and formed a straight line of flames, like a fire dragon, bursting out with great power, and attacked towards N.A.N very fast. In this case, if you change to another ninja and want to use ninjutsu to fight the incoming flames, it will be too late. Facing the flames that attacked him, N.A.N did not have the slightest fear, but instead showed a sneer. In the next instant, flames erupted from his right fist, swung up rapidly, and bombarded out. Fire fist. A punch blasted out, and the flames erupted, forming a huge fist, like a fierce beast, against the dragon fire that attacked it. Bang! The attacks from both sides collided together, immediately producing a roar, forming a power fluctuation that spread out towards the surroundings. N.A.N's strength is above the opponent, so the fire fist blasted out, immediately defeated the dragon fire, and continued to pounce towards the members of the root organization. Seeing the fire fist like a fierce beast, the members of this root organization became terrified, their eyes widened, and they couldn't believe it. He wanted to dodge, but it was too late. Rumble. The fire fist blasted over, directly on the other party, blasted the other party out, flew directly to the edge of the woods, and almost hit the trees. Suffering such an attack, the members of that root organization were defeated, it was inevitable, fell to the ground, passed out, and could not fight again. The remaining members of the root organization were no longer as surprised as they were, and they had been completely shocked by the strength that Kinyi had shown. He couldn't believe that a 5-year-old imp had such strength, he was really more evil than Kakashi. Although he was shocked in his heart, he could not retreat here, and he still had to continue to complete the task. Of course, there is still a fluke in his heart, hoping to defeat Chiba and bring him back to the base. Wind Escape Peacock Whirlwind Slash. The last person took off the Tadeo, clenched his hands, ran the chakra, injected it into the Tadeo, raised it high, and then slashed out. Airplanes. As he slashed out, chakra erupted, forming a hurricane, evolving into a peacock, and quickly rushing towards Chiba. Kinyi turned around and watched the last person attack, his eyes flashed with cold light, even with murderous intent. He roared low, and immediately rushed towards the wind peacock that was pounced, and at the same time flames emitted from his right hand, gradually bursting out. In the next instant, he still burst out into a fire fist, which was much more powerful than before. The fire fist bombarded the past, defeated the wind escape peacock, and continued to attack the last person. Rumble. The last member of the root organization, attacked by the fire fist, could not withstand it at all, and was immediately blasted out and fell into the distance. It seems that the physique of this root organization member should be stronger than the other two, so after being attacked by the fire fist, he did not pass out, but just blocked the ground and screamed in pain. If it were in other places, Chiba would not bypass these ninjas and directly kill them. After all, this is the confines of Konoha village, and he can't kill members of the root organization, otherwise he will be sanctioned by the village. Although there are relatively sharp contradictions between different factions in the village, it will not escalate to the level of killing village members, which is not allowed. Go back and tell Tenzo that it's best not to mess with me, otherwise, I will make him pay. Kinyi walked to the member of the root organization who was not yet unconscious and said coldly. At this moment, he definitely did not look like a child, but had experienced countless things and became very cold, like a killing god, coming out of blood and fire, exuding an icy aura. Feeling the momentum exuded by Kinyi, the members of the root organization who fell to the ground felt horrified, and they felt panic in their hearts, very uneasy, and wanted to be farther away from Kinyi, not daring to approach him. With these words, Kinyi ignored the other party and continued to walk towards the place where he was cultivating. Without the slightest nervousness, there was nothing to worry about. On this day's cultivation, Kinyi mainly honed the shading and moon steps, increasing the fusion between the two skills, and striving to burst out with stronger power. The next day, Chiba and Kakashi went out together to report to the Dark Ministry. Kinyi, will you be nervous when you go to the Dark Department for the first time today? As he walked down the road, Kakashi asked. It can be seen that there is no problem with Chiba joining the Dark Department and also following his own squad, making Kakashi happy about this. What is there to be nervous about? If those people dare to come and look for trouble, they will be taught a lesson. Kinyi shrugged his shoulders and spoke, not at all nervous, but also showing arrogance. I'm relieved to see you like this, Kakashi said with a smile. The base of the dark part is not in the center of the village, but in the more marginal area. It is built in a wood, which is very hidden, and if you do not enter that area, it will definitely be difficult to find. Kakashi led Chiba to the dark base for a simple visit to understand the basic situation of the dark department and register. Prepare a set of combat uniforms for Chiba. Kakashi took Chiba to the logistics office and said to the old man in charge of the logistics office, "Okay, there's a new member in the dark department." With a kind smile on his face, the old man spoke, as if happy about this. His gaze fell on Kinyi, and he looked up. "This is my younger brother Chiba, the talent is very good, not worse than me." Kakashi spoke, proud of Chiba. "That's very good, the young man has to work hard and contribute to the village in the future." The old man said to Kinyi, he had a lot of expectations for him. "I will." Kinyi nodded and said, revealing a childlike smile. The old man did not hesitate, turned around and walked into the room, and took out a set of combat uniforms and tools for Kinyi. Chiba got the combat uniform, and after changing his clothes, he put a fox mask on his face and followed Kakashi to the usual training place. After all, Kakashi is still a child. After joining the Dark Division, he is just a team member, and he does not have much power, just an ordinary group member. Kakashi's group, in the dark part, is more of a younger member, and the average team member will not be more than 15 years old. If the young team members stay together, there will be no barriers, and communication will be much easier, and they can promote each other and communicate together. Chiba and Kakashi came to the meadow in the forest, where 5 members of the Dark Division had gathered, wearing the same style of combat uniforms and masks of different animals, and their faces could not be seen clearly. When they usually stay together, they will take off their masks, know each other who they are. Maybe today they know that a new member has joined, so they want to give a little color to the new member to see, shock the new member, and consolidate their status. The new members of the dark department have arrived, and everyone will take care of each other in the future. Kakashi stood in the middle of the field, took off his mask, and spoke. He still respected the other members of the dark department present, and did not have any proud looks. Among the members of the dark division present, only Kakashi and Chiba were the youngest, so it was necessary to show respect for their predecessors. I am the new member of the dark department, and please take care of you in the future. Kinyi took off his mask, revealed a beautiful face, and spoke. His expression was calm, without any nervousness, and he would not be afraid of other members of the dark division. Yo, the new member is still a child, younger than Kakashi. A dark member standing on the trunk of the tree couldn't help but chuckle when he looked at the immature Kinyi. It was a woman's voice, and the voice seemed very crisp and sounded good, making people think that she must be a beautiful girl. As she spoke, the girl did not continue to cover her face, and brought the rabbit's face above her head, revealing her beautiful face. She has long hair, but a ponytail, a fair face, a goose egg face, a beautiful nose, and a very good temperament, and is a beautiful girl. My name is Uchiha Maina. If you don't understand anything in the future, you can come and ask me. Maina, who was standing on the trunk of the tree, showed a good-looking smile and said with a smile. Hearing the other party's introduction, Kinyi was still a little surprised, and did not expect that the other party was a person from the Uchiha clan, and he was also a beautiful girl. Oh, actually let a little fart join the dark part, this is a joke. Do you think the dark part has become a kindergarten? A dark member standing upside down on a tree trunk, relatively tall, slender, and wearing a leopard mask, said coldly, with a hint of mockery. Obviously, this person is very unhappy with Kinyi, and feels that joining the dark part at Kinyi's age can only become the tail of the crane, and it can't play much role at all. Karama Tonshan, don't hit the new members like that. The other members spoke, obviously a little unable to stand Karama Tonshan's contemptuous treatment of Chiba. Karama Tonshan, it turns out that the Karama family is known as the four major families of Konoha, no wonder he is so arrogant. Knowing the other party's name, Kinyi couldn't help but joke, sneered and said, not afraid of the other party at all. Even if the opponent's strength is good, he is only a 13 or 14-year-old boy, and he is not Chiba's opponent at all, and if he fights, Chiba is confident that he can defeat the other party. Karama Tonshan, this is my younger brother, his strength is very good, don't torture and underestimate him. Kakashi spoke, indicating his attitude. Kinyi is his younger brother, and he, as an older brother, must protect his younger brother and can't let others bully, otherwise he, as an older brother, will have no face. Hee, it turned out to be your younger brother, but so what, the second bird is still a rookie, if you are not convinced, try it with me? Karama Tonshan obviously did not give face, but still said with disdain, and his attitude was very tough. Seeing this situation, Kinyi was a little unbearable, even if he was just a child, and he had just joined the dark department, he could not tolerate others despising him like this. How to say that the Clayman also has 3 points of fire, he will not be soft persimmons, casually others to take it. I know I'm a newcomer, if I don't show some skills, you won't be able to look at me and think I'm a rookie, then I'll try it with you now, what do you think? Chiba walked out, looked at Karama Tonshan who was standing upside down, and spoke. His expression was calm, his eyes were firm, and he was not afraid of such a challenge at all. Little ghost, dare to challenge me, it's a little courageous, and you are not so dish. Karama Tonshan spoke, still looking condescending. Hey, with your ability, you are not qualified to fight with Tonshan, so let me try it with you and see what you are capable of. A member of the dark department wearing a tiger mask walked out and said playfully. His figure is not tall, and his voice has a hint of childishness. I think he will not be very old, it is estimated that he is only 12 or 13 years old, and he usually secretly scolds the henchmen of the same mountain. Okay, then try it, wait for me to defeat you, and then go to challenge the same mountain and prove my strength. Kinyi did not refuse, but directly agreed to come down, without the slightest panic. Kakashi did not organize Chiba and let the latter do this without the slightest worry. You know, Chiba's strength is not bad, no worse than Kakashi. If you fight against the other party, you will not lose at all. It looks like there will be a good fight, and hopefully it will surprise us. A member of the dark department spoke, not meaning to be an old peacemaker, but a little gloating, looking forward to this competition. It is allowed for members of the dark division to compete with each other, as long as it does not cause human life, and this can also improve each other's strength. Come on, I hope you have a little patience, don't let me beat it easily. Kinyi looked at the member wearing the tiger mask and spoke, looking very arrogant with the provocative action. Little ghost, the tone is not small, see how I defeat you, let you know how good you are, remember my name is Moonlight Nelly. Moonlight Nelly, who was wearing a tiger mask, said coldly. Stop wasting time, hurry up, Kinyi said with disdain. Moonlight Nelly snorted coldly, no longer hesitated, and rushed towards Kinyi. The speed was very fast, no worse than Zhong Shinobu. Moonlight Nelly is only at the level of middle ninja, not the kind of opponent of adult middle ninja. With his current strength, it is obviously impossible to compete with Chiba. Moonlight Blastwind is not good at ninjutsu, but he is a little better at physical skills, and he is good at using secret swords. Therefore, after he rushed over, his body was still twisting in the air, and his posture appeared very graceful and beautiful, as if he was dancing. However, in Kinyi's eyes, this kind of beauty is completely cumbersome, and it is not useful in the middle, and it shows the flaws in front of him, giving him a good opportunity. Since Moonlight Nelly gave Chiba such an opportunity, Chiba would definitely not give up. Kinyi exerted force under his feet, launched the shaving, and the body immediately disappeared, and when he appeared in the next moment, he came to Moonlight Nelly, and with a swift kick, he kicked directly on the abdomen of the other party. Boom! Moonlight Nelly suffered a heavy blow, and the whole person flew out upside down, hitting the trees, and let out a muffled snort. He was pulling out the long sword on his back before, but he didn't have a chance to attack, so he was shot out by Kinyi and easily defeated. Chiba fell back to the ground and stood there, not continuing the pursuit. Is this your strength? It's probably too weak. Kinyi looked at the Moonlight Nelly in the distance and said with disdain, showing a proud look. He shows enough strength to naturally be proud of his capital. Seeing Chiba easily defeat Moonlight Nelly and standing around the members of the Dark Department, he was immediately surprised, his eyes widened, and he couldn't believe it. Moonlight Nelly is among these people, the strength is considered to be in the middle and upper reaches, but he did not expect that he was easily defeated by Kinyi, which can be said to be a second kill, without the slightest suspense. It can be imagined that Kinyi's strength is indeed very strong, above Moonlight Nelly. I really didn't expect that you would have such strength at such a young age, Uchiha Mina said with a smile, surprised by the strength that Chiba displayed, as if she had found a jade, and her eyes brightened. Kinyi, I did a very good job, worthy of being my younger brother, Kakashi said praisefully, proud of Chiba. This little ghost is really good, although he is a little younger, his strength is strong enough. Others also expressed their opinions, recognizing Chiba's strength. Next, can I challenge you? Kinyi did not intend to stop there, turned around, looked at Kurama Tongshin standing upside down on the trunk, and slowly spoke, showing coldness. Since the other party was so sneering before, then Kinyi would not make the other party feel good, and would inevitably issue a challenge. Don't think that if you defeat Nelly, you can beat me, don't be too presumptuous. Although Kurama Tongshin was surprised, he quickly calmed down, still very proud, and felt that Chiba was not his opponent. I haven't tried it and how do I know? I think if I beat you, I will be very happy. Kinyi was unceremonious, confronted by the opposite policy, and did not fall behind. Hearing Chiba's arrogant words, Kurama Tongshin was even more unhappy in his heart, determined to teach Chiba a good lesson, otherwise, it would be difficult to vent the anger in his heart. Kurama Tongshin came down from the tree, stood on the ground, looked at Chiba coldly, and slowly walked over. As he walked over, he reached out and unbuttoned his mask, revealing his face. Kurama Tongshin is relatively handsome in appearance, angular, and his face is full of pride, which looks extraordinary. Kurama Tongshin walked towards Chiba, and did not directly move, but looked at Chiba, as if as long as he watched, he would lose his combat effectiveness because of this. Seeing Kurama walking over and not attacking, Kinyi couldn't help but be surprised, unable to understand what the other party wanted to do. However, he was stunned suddenly, remembering the ancient family of Kurama, which was an ancient family that could be ranked with the three families of Uchiha, Senju, and Hinata, and had a terrifying blood succession limit, but it gradually declined, and then disappeared and was ignored. The illusion of the Kurama family is very powerful, and it can even turn the things that exist in the illusion into real existence, which can be called the ability to defy the sky. Kurama Tongshin looked at Chiba, although there was no movement, but through his eyes, he had already launched an illusion. Suddenly, around Kinyi's body, flames appeared out of thin air, constantly burning, raging and churning, like a sea of fire, looking terrifying. Moreover, deep in the sea of fire, Kinyi could feel the powerful heat energy, which made him very uncomfortable, and felt that he would be burned to death by the flames. You have fallen into my illusion range, you have already lost, it is better to quickly admit defeat, otherwise, you will only suffer more. Kurama Tongshin looked at Chiba in the sea of fire and said with a sneer, still showing contempt. Although your ability is a bit special, it is not enough to defeat me. Kinyi said jokingly, not nervous at all. You like to have a hard mouth so much, then let you taste the taste of pain and teach you a profound lesson. Kurama Tongshin said coldly. As he spoke, he directly waved his right hand, controlled the flames in the sea of fire, and directly mobilized, like a fire python, churned up, and attacked Kinyi. Watching the flames frantically pounce over, Kinyi did not hesitate, his body shook, and he launched the ability to burn fruits, and the blazing flames immediately burst out, resisting the impacting flames and defusing the attack. Pillar of fire. Kinyi's body turned, and an even stronger flame burst out, forming a thick pillar of fire, crushing all the surrounding flames. After all, Kurama Tongshin has limited strength, only the middle ninja level, and it takes a lot of chakra to perform such an illusion, and it is difficult to maintain. Now, Chiba burst out such a flame, completely crushing the flames of Kurama Tongshin, naturally causing his illusion to collapse, and the surrounding things returned to their original appearance, and there was no flame surging, only the flame emitted by Chiba. How so? Seeing that the illusion he had performed was disintegrated like this, Kurama Tongshan was surprised. He couldn't believe it, and it was difficult to accept. He originally thought that with his special ability, it would be an easy thing to defeat Chiba from him, but he did not expect that it would turn out to be such a result. Is that what you're capable of? It's not enough to see it all. Chiba looked at Kurama Tongshan and said with disdain. When the words fell, he did not hesitate, quickly acted, rushed towards Kurama Tongshan, and launched an offensive. Although Kurama Tongshan was surprised, he quickly reacted and saw Chiba rushing over. Without the slightest hesitation, he immediately ran the chakra, quickly sealed his hands, and performed ninjutsu. Fire escape. How fireball technique. Kurama sealed with the mountain, launched chakra, and spewed chakra out of his throat, and immediately formed a huge fireball in the space in front of him, quickly attacking towards Chiba. In the face of the huge fireball that pounced, Kinyi was ready and did not have the slightest fear. He drank up, activated the ability to burn fruit, and the flames burst out, wrapped around his right fist, and instantly swelled a lot rumble. The fire fist bombarded out, directly crushing the fireball, and disintegrating Kurama Tongshan's attack. Moreover, the offensive of the fire fist has not stopped, and it is still attacking forward, like a fierce beast, crashing into the same mountain. At this time, Kurama Tongshan could not dodge at all, suffered a powerful fire fist impact, and the whole person flew out upside down, hit the trees 10 meters away, fell to the ground, and directly passed out. Chiba showed enough strength to defeat the self-proclaimed powerful Kurama Tongshan to shock the members of the Dark Division present. These Dark Department members were surprised in their hearts when they saw Kinyi's strength, and they did not expect that a little ghost had such a terrifying strength, which was definitely unexpected. The surrounding Dark members looked at Kinyi in the field, their eyes widened, and their emotions were excited, and it was difficult to calm down. Kinyi has become more powerful, and now even if it is me, I am afraid it is not his opponent. Kakashi looked at Chiba and sighed in his heart. Very good, it really deserves to be a rare genius in Konoha. At this moment, a majestic voice came from the woods. Immediately afterwards, a slender member with a height of 1 meter 8, wearing a black combat uniform and a tanuki mask, walked out of the woods and appeared in front of everyone. Seeing this dark member appear, all the Dark Department members present were in awe, and did not dare to have the slightest contempt. Captain Jiwei, the oil girl. Several members of the Dark Department spoke one after another. After hearing this title, Kinyi reacted, knowing the identity of the other party and the ability he was proficient in. Shiwei, the oil girl, is a ninja who is proficient in the ability to control insects, and her strength is very comprehensive, and she can control insects to search for information and fight. Before the Third Ninja World War broke out, he actually worked in the Dark Department, which was a bit unexpected for Chiba. The little genius of the Kiki family, who graduated from the ninja school early before he was 6 years old, and easily defeated Kurama Tongshan. You are very good. The oil girl Jiwei walked over, stood in front of Kinyi, her gaze fell on the other party, and spoke. Oil girl Jiwei will not be like Kurama Tongshan, hot-blooded, likes to make trouble, can handle things calmly, and will not target Chiba. I'll have to learn more from the captain in the future. Kinyi responded calmly, not arrogant. Since you are Kakashi's younger brother, you have already learned a lot from Kakashi on the way to the Dark Division, about the daily things that the Dark Department has to do. The oil girl Jiwei did not say anything, and went directly to the topic. The Dark Team usually patrols the situation in the village, and if anything unusual is found, it must be reported to Naruto-sama immediately. Yunuji briefly reiterated it, and then added, if there is any special mission, the Dark Team will also leave the village to carry out the mission. After briefly saying the matter, the oil girl Shiwei did not linger, turned around and left the place, and ordered the two subordinates to take away Moonlight Nali and Kurama, who had been unconscious. As for the other members of the Dark Department, after the oil girl Jiwei left, they left this place one after another, patrolled the village, and did their job. Kakashi was in no hurry to leave, and was ready to take Chiba on patrol with him, and the two brothers acted together. Let's go on patrol too, Kakashi said to Chiba. Chiba did not hesitate, answered, followed Kakashi, and patrolled the village together. In the first 2 days, Kinyi could endure this boring life, but on the third day, he felt that there was nothing to do everyday patrol like this, but it was really boring, it was simply a waste of life. Being a member of the Dark Division is not as fun as I thought, patrolling every day, it's really boring, not a little passion. Chiba, wearing a mask, walked in the woods and complained. This is the work of the dark part, life cannot be full of fun at all times, you have to learn patience and be patient. Kakashi walked beside him and opened his mouth to persuade Chiba. In this kind of thing, Kakashi is very patient, does not complain easily, and can easily accept this kind of thing. You are a child, how can you be so patient, what a monster. Chiba turned around, looked at Kakashi, shook his head and said, because I am a ninja, I must shoulder my mission and complete it seriously. Kakashi said calmly and seriously. It seems that I have no way to communicate with you, you are too rigid, Kinyi said ruefully. Although he needs to carry out the task of patrolling the village, Kinyi will not slack off in cultivation, he uses the shadow doppelganger technique, creates two doppelgangers, and cultivates on the outskirts of the village. Kakashi, Chiba, Naruto-sama summoned you to the office. It seems that there is a task for you. Uchiha Mina appeared, without the slightest hesitation, and spoke. Is it finally time to go on a mission? I've been looking forward to it for a long time. Kinyi laughed and became very excited. 10 minutes later, the 5 members of the Dark Division, Chiba, Kakashi, and Uchiha Mina, gathered in the Hokage's office. The third-generation Hokage sat on the table behind his desk, put down the information in his hand, and looked up at the 5 members of the Dark Division. Originally, this task did not need to be entrusted to you, but recently the situation between several major powers has become tense, and the ninjas in the village have gone on other tasks, and there are no manpower for a while, so I thought of letting you carry it out. Ape Flying Sun said. Naruto-sama, if you have any task, please do not hesitate to order. With our strength, it will definitely be completed smoothly. Kurama Tonshin spoke, having a lot of confidence in himself. Recently, in the border of the Land of Fire and the Land of Tien, there has been a strong rogue, always invading the border residents. I want you to go and solve the rogue. Ape Flying Sun Chopper briefly explained the task. Now the situation in various countries is relatively tense, and I suspect that the rogues on the border are supported by other countries, so when you carry out your tasks, you don't have to show mercy to your subordinates, and use your strength to deter each other. Sarutobi added. Konoha village is now strong, and it is not afraid of other ninja villages at all. If other ninja villages want to start a war, Konoha village is also not afraid and dares to fight. Please rest assured, Naruto-sama, we will definitely wipe out the rogues on the border. Kurama Tonshin spoke. After explaining the task, Sarutobi let the members of the Dark Department leave. Kurama Tonshin is now making a contribution, and he has also been appointed as the captain of this 5-person group, and his self-confidence has swelled a lot, and he does not want to delay the slightest time. Let the others go back and prepare, and immediately take action, rushing towards the border of the country of Fire and the country of Tien, intending to complete this mission in the shortest possible time and prove their strength. In Kurama Tonshin's view, as long as this task can be completed excellently, then it will definitely be reused in the future, and it is inevitable that it will be mixed up. After 2 days of hurrying, the 5 of Chiba rushed to the border of the Land of Fire and the Land of Tien. After they arrived at the border, they did not act recklessly, did not rush to immediately track down the gangsters, but obtained more useful information from the local villagers. According to the information provided by the villagers, this gang of rogues has appeared for half a month, wantonly burning and looting the border villagers, making the villagers on the border simply unhappy and suffering huge losses. After hearing the villagers' explanations, Uchiha Mina was filled with righteous indignation, and she wanted to immediately annihilate the rogues, avenge the dead villagers, and vent the anger in her heart. According to the information provided by the villagers, this gang is now 10 miles away from the attacked village, occupying a mountain peak and intending to stay there for a long time. The mountain peak where the Ryoko stood was not within the border of the Land of Fire, but fell within the Land of Fields, which may have been intentional. We are going to destroy those rogues at once. Moonlight Nelly also has a warm blood, and he can't tolerate this kind of thing at all. We don't know yet, what is the strength of this rogue. It is not a good plan to attack rashly now, and these rogues are now king and have geographical advantages, so it is better for us to plan it. Kakashi's calm analysis did not attack as rashly in the face of unnecessary losses. Are you scared? Don't dare to deal with these rogues. Kurama Tonshin spoke, with a hint of teasing, gladly looking down on Kakashi a little. For Kakashi and Chiba, Kurama Tonshin has no good feelings, and if he has the opportunity, he will definitely target and sneer. The defeat of Chiba, Kurama Tonshin has always remembered it in his heart, never forgotten, and even wanted to find an opportunity to take revenge. Tonshin, how can you say this? Kakashi is also thinking carefully, for the sake of everyone, not to let everyone fall into danger. We are here to carry out the mission, not to play with life. Uchiha Mina spoke, not wanting to see everyone make a conflict because of this kind of thing. If everyone is in conflict and discord with each other now, when it comes time to deal with the rogues, they will not be able to work together, there will be big problems, and even lead to everyone's deaths. I want to complete the task quickly, although Naruto-sama did not ask for the length of time to complete the task, but if it drags on for a long time, he will definitely not be happy. Kurama Tonshin spoke, giving himself a good reason and a good persuasion. Since you are so anxious to kill the rogues, then act now. Kinyi, who had never spoken, finally spoke. His expression was calm, not the slightest nervousness, as if Tarzan collapsed in front of him, and he would not have the slightest panic, not at all a child's expression. Even your brother agrees to act, Kakashi, you won't have any opinions. Moonlight Nelly spoke, a look of disdain flashing on his face. Then let's act. Kakashi also stopped arguing and agreed to act immediately. With the strength of him and Kinyi, even if he encounters a problem and is calculated by the rogue, he can retreat with his whole body. After all, he is already a middle forbearant. On the contrary, Moonlight Nelly is among the 5 people, the the strength is the worst one. If there is really an accident, the most unlucky is estimated to be him. The 5 members of Kurama Tongshen did not delay time, and immediately took action, rushing towards the camp where the robes were stationed. Half an hour later, they appeared at the foot of the camp, stopped slightly, adjusted their state, and prepared to attack later. The characters this time are to annihilate the robes, so there is no need to show mercy to their subordinates, just bombard them directly when they attack, understand? Kurama Tongshen spoke. We know what to do and don't need you to command. Chiba, who was standing on the trunk of the tree, said without saltiness and lightness, and would not easily obey the command of Kurama Tongshen. In his opinion, Kurama Tongshen is just a stuntman who is in a hurry to make meritorious achievements. If he lets Tongshen command, I am afraid that there will be problems, and there will be a lot of trouble at that time. Moreover, it is strange that Chiba is above Kurama Tongshen in terms of mentality and strength, and will obey the commands of others. If you want to command you, then wait until you can beat me. Don't forget, you are my defeated subordinate. Kinyi said disapprovingly, not giving Kurama the same mountain face at all. You, give me a walk and see. Kurama Tongshen was so angry that his face was red, and he wanted to burst out, but he didn't have that ability. The hatred for Kinyi in his heart was like burning anger, and he couldn't wait to wipe Kinyi out. Don't argue here, we're on a mission, and when the mission is completed, whatever you want. Uchiha Mina spoke. She knew that there was a conflict between Kurama and Yama and Chiba, and it was difficult to resolve, so she didn't plan to waste time to resolve it, whatever they wanted, as long as it didn't affect the mission. No problems were found. It is estimated that this rogue is not defensive, we can act. Moonlight Nelly observed the situation on the mountain and then spoke. Kurama snorted coldly, did not hesitate, and was the first to move, shuttling through the woods, and rushing towards the camp on the mountain. He wanted to pour out all the anger in his heart on the rogue and kill him. The 4 of Kinyi did not hesitate, and they moved one after another, rushing towards the mountain. In less than 10 minutes, the 5 of Chiba arrived at the camp near the top of the mountain. The camp had just been set up, but the trees had been cut down and a flat plot of land had been carved out and 7 simple wooden houses had been built, which were somewhat messy, with wood and planks piled up everywhere. According to the information obtained from the villagers, there are about 20 people in this rogue, most of them are not strong, and maybe 2 or 3 people will reach the level of N.A.N. Kurama Tongshen originally thought that if he rushed to the camp of the rogues, he could see the rogues who were caught off guard, and there was no need to be afraid, and he could kill on a large scale. However, when he rushed into the camp, he didn't see any trace of the rogue at all, which surprised him and couldn't believe it. However, the scene unfolding in front of him was unexpected and made him completely unexpected. What's going on? Where did the rogue go? Kurama stood in the camp, looked around the camp, and spoke, unable to calm down. He was originally full of confidence, he could kill the rogue by surprise, and he didn't even have time to react, but he didn't expect that he would pounce. The 4 of Kinyi then arrived, and when they saw that it was empty and there was no camp for rogues, they were also surprised and difficult to calm down. There is actually not a single rogue. Did they get the news in advance and knew that we were coming, so they hid? Moonlight Nelly spoke. With his 12-year-old insight, he couldn't figure it out at all. I'm afraid it's not that the rogues are hiding, but they want to catch turtles in the urn. Standing on a wooden pillar, Kinyi scanned the surrounding environment and spoke, his eyes becoming sharp. At this time, in the woods around the camp, there was a sudden movement, which was obviously the sound made by someone shuttling through the woods, and the ninjutsu was not small. Not good, be ready to fight, Kakashi said, immediately turning around and getting ready for battle. After hearing the voice, the 5 of Kinyi quickly reacted, turned around, and prepared for battle. Swish, 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 the sound of breaking wind sounded, and figures continued to emerge from the lush woods and appear around the camp. These are all rogues who burned and robbed on the border, one by one. They were extremely vicious, their faces were hideous, they held weapons in their hands, and they became fierce when they looked at the gazes of the 5 people in Kinyi. A total of 23 rogues appeared around the camp, surrounding the 5 of Chiba in the middle. Moonlight Nelly had not encountered this situation yet, so seeing that he was surrounded by rogues, the situation became very unfavorable, and his heart became uneasy, without the confidence before, and a panic look appeared on his face. Hee, it's ridiculous that 5 little ghosts who haven't grown their hair yet want to come and annihilate us. There was a rogue with a mustache, flicked the Tadeo in his hand, and said coldly, with a look of disdain, obviously not taking the Kinyi 5 seriously, is Konoha getting more and more useless? To send you to deal with us is not to take us seriously. A rogue wielding a tomahawk drank. And what's going on with those 2 little ghosts? You haven't gone to school yet, you dare to come and kill the enemy, are you tired of living? Someone looked at Chiba and Kakashi and said with a sneer. Kinyi and they were considered to have been ambushed, and when they rushed to this camp and wanted to attack and kill the rogues, they were noticed by the rogues, and they planned and arranged this bureau. These rogues believe that as long as the 5 people of Kinyi are surrounded so that they don't even have a chance to escape, they will definitely be able to solve the 5 people without the slightest pressure. What are we going to do now? Moonlight Nelly said. Although he had drawn his sword and was ready to fight, he did not have the slightest confidence and became apprehensive. Don't worry so much, they are just some ordinary robes, their strength will not be strong, we may not have a chance, Qian Yi said. Although he seems to be only a few years old now, his ability to analyze things is good, and he is still able to maintain a calm mind when he is not afraid of danger, which is very rare. Chiba is right, we are Konoha's ninjas, they may not be our opponents. Kakashi spoke, not flustered and able to remain calm. As long as we work together, we will not be weaker than them. Uchiha Mina spoke, feeling a little nervous, but not afraid. In any case, they are the elites of the Dark Department, even if they are in danger, they still have the ability to solve it, and they will not have no chance. Originally, such words to stabilize the army's heart should have been spoken by Kurama Tongson to keep everyone confident and not to panic, but he did not expect to be robbed of the limelight by Chiba and Kakashi, making him almost useless, and there was a anger in his heart. You little devils, you are all dying to the end, and you are still pretending to be in front of us. Wait a minute, I'll make you kneel and beg for mercy, and then slowly torture you to death. Hee hee, that chick is very slow and tender, let her wait for us later. Liuquan sneered, showing a disdainful look, still not putting the Kin Yi 5 in his eyes. Seeing that these rogues were still in the mood, Kin Yi did not intend to waste time, snorted coldly, and took the lead in rushing over and launching an offensive. Seeing Chiba act, the four Kakashi no longer hesitated, and almost rushed out at the same time, facing the surrounding rogues, using their own means to launch a rapid attack. In this case, if they can't defeat their opponent, then they will suffer and be killed here, which is very likely, so they must give it their all. After Kin Yi rushed out, he immediately launched the burning fruit, and the flames burst out, surrounding his body, reflecting him, and it looked very majestic. Yan Shang Gang. Kin Yi mobilized the flames and swung out with his right hand, causing the flames to rush out, forming a wall of fire that quickly rose up to block the rogues who were originally planning to rush over. Several rogues saw the flames appear, affected by the heat energy, did not dare to rush over easily, and all flinched, revealing a surprised look. And Kin Yi rushed over, not afraid of the wall of fire at all, but still maintained a high speed, rushed directly over, and appeared in front of a rogue. In the next instant, Kin Yi waved the shuriken in his hand and twisted his body, his movements looked very beautiful, and he easily cut the neck of a rogue. Before the rogue whose neck was cut could react, blood splashed, and he was easily killed, and he didn't even have a chance to scream, so he fell up. Before this killed rogue fell, Kin Yi launched a shave, flashed in an instant, and appeared in front of another rogue. Shuriken quickly pierced into the opponent's heart. Burst! The shuriken had no suspense, pierced the opponent's heart, causing blood to splash out, and easily strangled this rogue. In just 2 blinks of an eye, Kin Yi killed 2 rogues. This attack method is really efficient, not like a child can perform, but a person who has experienced countless battles to have this kind of combat skill. Kin Yi did not hesitate, twisted his body, changed direction, and at the same time threw the shuriken in his right hand out, directly into the eyebrows of a rogue, and killed the rogue who swung the knife and slashed over. The 3 rogues closest to Kin Yi were almost killed in seconds, not to mention resistance and screaming, and they didn't even have time to react, and they didn't know how they were killed. The rogue, who was standing not far away, couldn't help but be horrified when he saw 3 accomplices killed. His eyes widened, and he couldn't believe what he was seeing. They didn't expect that it was just a little ghost, and the strength was so strong that it was beyond expectations. How could he be so strong, still a child? Some rogues exclaimed. It was really difficult to calm down. Don't be stunned, go together, be sure to kill him. Someone drank it, and his heart was really angry, and he didn't dare to underestimate Kin Yi. The 5 rogues quickly rushed over, brandishing the weapons in their hands, moving quickly, and rapping Kin Yi from different directions, wanting to kill him in one fell swoop without giving him any chance. Kin Yi quickly glanced at it and found that the 5 rogues rushed towards him, without the slightest panic, rushing towards the 2 rogues in front, with a cold light flashing in his eyes, as if looking at 2 dead people. Divine fire, no fire. Kin Yi rushed over, swung his hands forward from behind, and emitted 2 flames, forming 2 muskets and attacking the 2 rogues. Phew, phew. The 2 muskets rushed over, equally fast, approaching the 2 rogues. The strength of these rogues is not strong in the first place, and if they want to compete with Kin Yi, it is impossible, and there is not even a chance to dodge. Poof, poof. 2 voices rang out, quickly attacking the muskets that went out, forcefully submerged into the bodies of the 2 rogues, and shook them out. Originally, the 5 rogues attacked Kin Yi together, but as soon as the attack started, they were killed by Kin Yi attack, which instantly weakened their combat power a lot. At this time, the other 3 rogues arrived and finally had a chance to attack. The 3 rogues approached, attacking Chiba from the top, middle, and bottom, not giving him a chance to dodge. In the face of such an attack, if you change to someone else, it is very difficult to dodge. However, for Kin Yi, it was nothing at all, and he didn't even have the idea of dodging, but he wanted to take advantage of this opportunity to attack. Yan Ji Yan Zhu. Suddenly, flames erupted from Kin Yi's body, and as his body rotated, it was carried out from the bottom up, forming a powerful pillar of fire. After the pillar of fire appeared, the three rogues who attacked just rushed over, without the slightest suspense, and were affected by the powerful flames. Rumble! The three rogues were attacked by the pillar of fire, without any suspense, and were immediately blasted out, fell to the ground, suffered heavy damage, and lost their combat effectiveness. However, in a moment, all the rogues on Kinyi's side were solved, 5 of the 8 rogues were killed, and 3 suffered heavy injuries and lost their combat effectiveness. Uchiha Mina was besieged by 4 rogues, and although she could barely hold on, she had fallen behind, and if she continued like this, she would be killed. I really didn't expect that the strength of this little devil of yours is so strong, it's really surprising. Just as Chiba was about to go to help Uchiha Mina, a figure quickly rushed out of the woods, and 3 shurikens attacked and pursued Chiba. Facing the shuriken that attacked him, Kinyi was not afraid at all, and casually sent out a flame to block the shuriken. This is a person dressed in simple clothes, similar to the rogue dressed, with a scar on his forehead, but his eyes are very sharp, which is very different from the rogue. Seeing this person appear, Chiba can conclude that this person's old line is not a rogue, but a ninja, and it is estimated that he is ordered by other ninja villages to disrupt the borders of the Fire Country. It seems that you are the mastermind behind these rogues. Kinyi squinted his eyes slightly, looked at the ninja who appeared, and said coldly, "This person's strength is not bad. It is estimated that he has the strength of the level of middle patience, or even a little stronger, and may reach the level of special patience, which is not at all comparable to those rookie rogues. Even if Kinyi wants to defeat the other party, it will not be an easy thing, and he needs to be cautious." "Yes, and how? Even if you know the truth, you can't leave alive." The other party said coldly, not afraid to admit it, and had enough confidence in this matter. "Do you really think that with you alone, leading these local chickens and dogs, you can really eat us?" Kinyi said disdainfully, not worried at all. "Of course I wouldn't think so, but what if you add them?" The other party showed a cold smile and said playfully. The words fell, and from the woods, 3 people dressed as rogues rushed out one after another. It can be seen that although they are dressed as rogues, the momentum they exude is completely different, their eyes are very sharp, and they are resolute. All of them are from some ninjas. "Which ninja village are you?" Chiba looked at the 4 ninjas who appeared and asked, wanting to know the answer from the other party's mouth. "You are just dying people, know what is the use of so much, or die with regret." The ninja who appeared first spoke, his expression becoming cold. "Who will die is not certain, don't be too happy." Kinyi said coldly, there was no egg meaning at all. "You guys go over and deal with the other 4 imps, hurry up and end the battle." The leader's opening said. The 3 ninjas who appeared, no longer hesitating, immediately took action, rushed in the direction of Kakashi's 4, and participated in the battle over there. Seeing this situation, Kinyi reacted. The ninja who appeared in front of him was not at the level of medium ninja at all, at least it reached the level of special upper ninja, while the other 3 ninjas were at the level of middle ninja. If these 3 Naka shinobi attack the Kakashi 4, they may be able to gain the upper hand, but it will take a lot of time to defeat the Kakashi 4. Taking advantage of this time, Chiba can kill his opponent before going to help Kakashi and them. "If you want to break each one, then I have to solve you first." Kinyi looked at the other party and said solemnly, "Little ghost, your strength is good, but don't treat me as a rogue. To tell you the truth, I am already very tolerant, and it will only take a little time to deal with you." Special Shangnin opened his mouth and said, with the intention of banter, he had absolute confidence that he could kill Chiba. "If you have the ability, then you let the horse come," Kinyi said defiantly. Saying that, he did not hesitate, immediately ran the chakra, quickly sealed his hands, and performed the shadow doppelganger technique. The 2 Kinyi appeared in front of him, without pausing, took the lead in attacking, and rushed towards Special Shinobu. After more than a year of cultivation, Kinyi's strength has improved a lot, relying on the ability to burn fruits. If you are particularly tolerant in battle, it is not a problem at all. The 2 Kinyi cast their shaves, approached the Special Shinobi, and besieged each other. In the case of casting, Kinyi's speed is very fast. Just in the blink of an eye, he approached the opponent, performed physical skills, and blasted out his fists and feet. After all, the other party is particularly tolerant, has rich combat experience, and his physical skills are definitely very strong, and it is impossible to rely on physical skills to defeat him. Compete with me in physical skills, and seek your own death. Especially Shang endured the cold, not afraid at all. He quickly cast his physical technique, holding Kuwu in both hands, and attacked towards the 2 Kinyi. His speed was fast and powerful. Sonorous. The Kuwu on both sides collided together, immediately making a sonorous sound, and sparks burst out. Although the 2 Kinyi joined forces to attack together, they were particularly rich in combat skills, and they were able to calmly resist each time without letting themselves be harmed. Although Kinyi's physical skills are good, after all, he is still a child's physique, and he can't compete with the adult's physique, so the confrontation in physical skills will soon fall into disadvantage and cannot suppress the other party. "Little ghost, with your little strength, you are not my opponent at all." Special Shinobu spoke, his words very confident. As he spoke, he had already approached Kinyi's shadow doppelganger, and Ku was stabbed straight out, defeating the shadow doppelganger. Then give it a try. Kinyi responded coldly. He directly launched the shaving, and the whole person disappeared from the ground and appeared in the air. After coming to the air, Chiba can cast a moon step, let his body glide through the air, and come to the top of the special shinobi. Fire Fist. Kinyi did not hesitate at all, and immediately slammed his fist to attack, and the flames burst out, forming a fire fist and rapidly bombarding down. Seeing the huge fire fist bombarding down, he was particularly awe-inspiring, intuitively felt dangerous, did not hesitate, and immediately made a seal. Tudun Tuliu Wall. Special Shinobu immediately condensed a wall of earth and stone, protecting the front and above of him, and fending off the attacking fire fist. Rumble. The power of the fire fist was very powerful, directly crushing the earthen wall, and continued to attack towards the special shinobi. Special Shinobu failed to dodge, was engulfed by the fire fist, and continued to attack. It's just that when the fire fist will be engulfed by special patience, it just makes a light sound, and the body immediately collapses. Obviously, Special Shinobu performed a substitute technique, and the Buddha figure was no longer in his original position, dodging the attack and not being harmed. At this moment, in the ground below Kinyi, a figure rushed out, quickly approaching Kinyi, holding Kuwu in his hand, and performing a physical attack. Especially Shang Shinobu knew that his physical skills were stronger than the other party, which was his advantage, so he planned to use this advantage to defeat Chiba and end this battle. Seeing that Special Shinobu appeared behind him and launched a hand-to-hand battle, Kinyi was not nervous, without the slightest panic. Perhaps this is the opportunity that he wants. In the pure sense of physical skills, Kinyi is not a particularly good opponent, but he cannot be treated with common sense. After all, he can be elementalized. That's what you're waiting for. Kinyi sneered. Seeing that Kinyi turned into flames and his body quickly separated, he was extremely shocked and couldn't believe it. It was unbelievable that Kinyi had this ability. How can this be? Special Shinobu exclaimed, wanting to pull away and withdraw backwards. However, he did not succeed. He was still wrapped in flames, and he fell downwind in an instant. Why can't it be like this? Come on. Kinyi's cold voice sounded like a killing god who asked for his life, and it entered the ears of Special Shangren. The flames burst out, like a giant beast that devoured everything, became swollen, and then evolved into many flame spears, stabbing straight towards the Special Shinobi who was surrounded in the middle. Poof, poof, poof. Even if the body of the Special Supple is strong, it cannot be resisted by the attack of the flame spear, and it is still pierced into the body by the flame spear. Special Shangren wanted to dodge and want to withdraw, but he couldn't succeed at all. His body was pierced by the flame spear, and he was immediately hit hard, to the point of dying. Boom! Special Shangnin fell to the ground, blood flowed from his clothes, stained his clothes red, and there were no less than 10 wounds, and the blood could not be stopped at all. Kinyi reincarnated his figure and appeared next to Special Shangnin, with a cold expression, not like a child at all, but a killing god, which was terrifying. It's very tolerant, but that's it. Kinyi looked at the Special Shangren who fell to the ground, and did not disdain at all. He didn't want to waste time, and the other party didn't have a chance, took out a handful of kunao, threw it out, and pierced the throat of the Special Tolerant. Burst! Kuwu submerged into the throat of the Special Patience, and blood immediately came out, blooming with blood flowers. Especially Shangnin's throat was pierced. Reaching out to cover his throat, he could only make a little sound, and his strength became smaller and smaller, and finally he fell down and was completely killed. A ninja who was originally very strong, after facing a monster like Shankaiba, had no chance at all, and was quickly killed. Seeing that he was particularly killed, Chiba did not intend to stay, and turned around and rushed towards the four of Uchiha Mina. On their side, the situation is very bad, and if time drags on, I am afraid that they will lose. The host kills the first Special Shinobi, rewards the domineering, and continues to work hard. The sound of the One Piece system prompt sounded. Seeing and smelling domineering, that is to sharpen the 5 senses, improve the ability to perceive, can sense the surrounding creatures, and predict danger, and dodge. Although it is not to improve the ability to attack, if it can be used well, the effect is also very good, and Chiba did not complain. Chiba continuously shaved, his body constantly flashing, approaching the battlefield on Uchiha Mina's side. On Uchiha Mina's side, she was not only attacked by one N.A.N, but also attacked by 3 robes, and the situation was very bad, and she could only struggle to support. If Kinyi held a little more, she might not be able to support it and be defeated by the other party. Kinyi rushed over, without the slightest hesitation, immediately launched an attack, instantly launched a shaving, approached a robe, holding a handful of kunao in his right hand, and directly attacked the past. Before this rogue could see Kinyi's body clearly, he felt a coolness in his throat, and then a blood flower burst out and bloomed in the air, so he covered his throat in panic and fell to the ground. After the Kinyi attack fell, his body moved like a ghost, and soon came to another rogue, and the kunao in his hand was like a life-threatening viper, although it was not pierced into the throat, but it was also nailed into the heart, making him fall to the ground and quickly die. Kinyi is like a ghost, each body appears, is captured by people, and then disappears in front of his eyes. By the time he reappeared, he had already come to the third rogue, and the flames burst out, forming a flame spear, which quickly stabbed straight forward. Burst! The third rogue was hit by the flame spear, and his body was immediately pierced, and he was knocked out, leaving the other party with no resistance at all. Chiba joined the battle on Uchiha Mina's side, and in less than 10 seconds before and after, he killed 3 rogues, and only Naka Shinobu and Mina fought. Naka Shinobi, who was fighting with Mina, saw Chiba so fast and killed the 3 rogues, unable to believe his eyes, revealing a shocked look. Moreover, before Kinyi rushed over, there was also a special upper ninja to confront him, and the strength was above the middle ninja, which could be said to be a lot of robbery. Now, since Chiba has been able to rush over to support Uchiha Mina, it means that the special shinobi who fought with him has been killed. Thinking of this situation, Naka Shinobu, who was fighting against Uchiha Mina, became even more frightened and seemed very uneasy. "What kind of monster are you?" Zhong-ren couldn't help but exclaim, his heart set off terrifying waves, and it was difficult to keep calm. "You don't have to worry about this, I'll send you on your way and reunite with your boss," Kinyi said coldly, not wanting to delay time. He rushed over and joined forces with Uchiha Mina to attack Naka Shinobu together. Although Naka Shinobu suppressed Uchiha Mina before, it did not achieve much effect. After all, it was a member of the Uchiha clan. Uchiha Mina is also a genius in the Uchiha family, who has opened the Sharingan, awakened a Jade Sharingan, and the illusion has a good power to a certain extent. As Chiba joins the battle, the situation immediately changes, gaining the upper hand and suppressing Naka Shinobu. Chiba has the strength to kill a single person with a special shinobi, and now he has teamed up with Uchiha Mina to defeat Naka Shinobi, and it is not a problem. Kinyi's attack was very fast, and it was also a shadow avatar attack, which was equivalent to 3 people joining forces to attack Naka Ninja together. Naka Nin couldn't last a few rounds, but in just a minute, he was defeated by Chiba, kicked out, fell to the ground, and fell some distance. Kinyi did not give Zongnin any chance, directly cast a shaving, dodged, and chased over, holding a kunao in his hand, and at the moment when Zongnin fell to the ground, he pierced the opponent's heart position. Burst! Naka Shinobu could not dodge at all, and directly suffered a blow. His heart was pierced, blood immediately came out, and he was immediately killed. "Kinyi, your strength is really strong, and you easily killed a Zongnin," Uchiha Mina came over and said with a sigh. She originally thought that although Kinyi was a genius and his talent was very amazing, if he wanted to talk about actual combat, he would still be a little worse. However, she did not expect that Kinyi's strength and ability were so strong that she was not afraid to kill people at all. "It's not even close," Kinyi said, revealing a confident smile. "Moonlight Nelly and Kurama are on the same side of the mountain, the battle is still relatively glue, let's go over and help." Uchiha Mina turned her head to look at the battlefield elsewhere and spoke. Although Chiba's relationship with Moonlight Nelly and Kurama Tongshen is not harmonious, they are teammates after all, they are all Konoha's people, and they should be unanimous with the outside world. "Okay, you go and help Moonlight Nelly out of the siege, and I'll help Kurama Tongshen," Chiba spoke, not targeting Kurama Tongshen. Without pausing, the two of them immediately turned around and rushed towards the other 2 battlefields. Although Kakashi is only 8 years old, his strength is quite good, reaching the level of Naka Ninja. Even if he is besieged by Naka Ninja and Rogue, he can calmly deal with it, and seizes the opportunity to solve the 2 rogue and does not fall behind. Moonlight Nelly was only besieged by 4 rogues, and did not suffer much attack, was able to maintain the situation, and would not be easily defeated. If there was Uchiha Mina's help, there would be no problem in solving these rogues. Chiba rushed to Kurama Tongsen and was not in a hurry to make a move, but stood not far away and watching the battle. Anyway, victory in this battle is inevitable, and there is no need to worry at all. Chiba was originally unhappy with Kurama Tongshen, and now he will definitely not easily help Kurama Tongshen to solve the siege, and he wants to see Kurama Tongshen being taught a lesson. Seeing Kurama being abused, Chiba's mood will be good. "Kurama Tongshen, aren't you usually very powerful? Self-proclaimed genius, how come he can't even deal with a single Zongnin now?" Chiba walked over and stood on a tree stump, looking at Kurama Tongshen not far away. At this time, Kurama Tongshen was subjected to Naka Shinobu and 5 rogues, not in very good condition. In the downwind, the figure looked a little embarrassed, and there were several wounds on his body. If this continues, Kurama Tongshen will not be in good shape, and he will be defeated by the other party. Seeing Chiba rushing over, but did not directly help him, Kurama Tongshen was very unhappy in his heart, and there was an anger in his heart. However, there is nothing he can do. With his form, it is already very difficult to defeat the opponent. It can be said that there is no chance. I don't need your help, I can defeat my opponent. Karama Tongchen said coldly, not intending to ask for help at all from Chiba. Then you continue to fight, I'll watch, don't be careless, or you'll be finished. Kinyi said nonchalantly, as if he didn't pay attention at all. Naka Shinobu, who was fighting with Karama on the same mountain, saw Chiba appear, and reacted similar to the previous Naka Shinobi, turned his head to look at other battlefields, and found that he had completely fallen behind, and there was no suspense in being defeated. He didn't expect that he had enough confidence to take down the Kinyi 5, but he didn't expect that the result would be like this, and it was actually them who failed. When Naka Shinobu saw such a situation, he was terrified in his heart. He didn't want to continue fighting, he didn't want to plant here, he wanted to run away and save his life. Without the slightest hesitation, he immediately withdrew backwards, intending to leave the battlefield and run for his life. Karama Tongchen originally wanted to fight hard, but when he saw that his opponent actually retreated and did not intend to continue fighting, he couldn't help but be surprised, and he also understood what was going on, and he was slightly relieved. Seeing his opponent retreat, Karama Tongchen knew that there was no danger to his life, and he could just wipe out the remaining rogues, so he re-revealed his fierce light. He had been suppressed for a long time before, and now that he saw N.A.N retreating, he could finally vent with these rogues. Karama Tongchen did not hesitate and rushed towards the remaining 5 rogues and attacked. After seeing Naka Shinobu retreat, the remaining 5 rogues became terrified, and did not dare to stay here, wanting to retreat and save their lives. After all, they are just working for people, and if they really want to take their own lives, it must be reluctant. You still want to escape, there is no chance. Karama Tongchen said coldly, although he can't kill Naka Shinobu, he can deal with these rogues. Seeing Naka Shinobu escape, Kinyi narrowed his eyes and revealed a cold light. Since you want to come, you still want to leave, there is no chance, Kinyi said. In the next instant, his body had disappeared from the stake, and he launched a shave, rushing past like a bullet, chasing after the fleeing N.A.N. Naka Shinobu, who was fleeing to the woods, suddenly had a strange feeling, became uneasy, and an incomparable sense of fear suddenly appeared in his heart. He looked back and saw a figure that was not tall, and his eyes became awe-inspiring. Moreover, Chiba killed the special shinobi, which made the Naka Shinobu panic and became very uneasy. He didn't expect that Kinyi's pursuit speed was so fast, and he actually kept closing the distance, making his escape even more suspenseless. Naka Shinobu didn't want to face Chiba at all, desperately running away, wanting to escape. However, even if he escaped, it still could not have an effect, and the distance between the two continued to closer. After Naka Shinobu rushed into the woods, Chiba finally caught up, launched a shaving, and his figure flashed, rushing in front of the opponent to stop the fleeing Naka Shinobu. Stop running, you don't have a chance. Kinyi stood in front of N.A.N and said coldly. N.A.N looked at Chiba, who was still a child, and although he was unhappy in his heart, he was very uneasy and had no way. Don't fool people too much, push me into a hurry, it's a big deal to die with you. N.A.N spoke, almost roaring out, but it seemed to lack confidence. If you want to die with me, you don't have the qualifications. Kinyi said coldly. Flames emerged around the body, constantly surrounding, looking even more strange, like gods and demons. Fire escape wind blowing fire art. Naka Shinobu didn't want to sit still, and immediately ran the chakra, quickly sealed his hands, and took the lead in attacking. Suddenly, as he opened his mouth to spew out, a flame burst out, and with a violent wind, the flame soared, turning into a wall of fire, raging towards Kinyi, and shrouding Kinyi. Naka Shinobu cast a fire ninjutsu, forming a fiery wall of fire, attacking towards Kinyi, and the power was still good. In his opinion, even if Kinyi's strength is very strong, if he wants to fight this ninjutsu, he will also waste some time, and he can take advantage of this time to escape. Maybe there are still many opportunities. Seeing a wall of fire attacking, Kinyi did not have the slightest jealousy at all, but still looked very relaxed, with a playful expression. Someone dares to play with fire in front of him, this is not a big knife in front of Guangong. Violent pheasant beak. Kinyi immediately activated the ability to burn the fruit, and the flames quickly burst out, gathered on his right arm, and then took the turn of his right arm and blasted out strongly. In the next instant, a terrifying flame quickly burst out, forming a huge flame giant bird, rushing forward. As the flame giant bird rushed over, the wall of fire that attacked was nothing at all, it was easily defeated, and the front was completely submerged, and everything was impacted by a powerful force, all destroyed, and ceased to exist. Seeing the terrifying flame giant bird rushing towards him, Naka Shinobu, who originally wanted to run for his life, immediately panicked, his body was stunned, and he couldn't move his body at all. Rumble. Without the slightest suspense, Naka Shinobu was overwhelmed by the flame giant bird, and he was killed strongly, and he could not be spared. The flame giant bird rushed out and destroyed a forest, all the trees were burned to ashes, no longer existed, this destruction belt was tens of meters, it looked shocking. The power of the violent pheasant mouth sent by Kinyi is no weaker than that of A-level ninjutsu, or even more powerful. Most importantly, this is a 5-year-old child, and the power that erupts is shocking and unbelievable. Outside the woods, Kakashi had finished the battle, and before he could relax, he heard a roaring sound and saw the terrifying flames burst out and destroy a forest. His eyes were straight and he couldn't believe it. It shouldn't be Kinyi, the attack that broke out. Kakashi looked at the flame that had not yet been extinguished and muttered, feeling a little excited. Uchiha Mina and they were equally shocked, feeling that if Chiba erupted, then Chiba was really a demon and could not be viewed with normal eyes. Kinyi walked out of the burning area, just like a killing god who came out of purgatory. Although his figure was not tall, no one dared to underestimate him, and even became jealous. Seeing the strength displayed by Chiba, Naka Shinobi was easily killed by him, and the eyes of Moonlight Nelly and Karama Tongshan looking at Chiba finally changed, no longer disdainful before, more jealousy. They now finally understood that if Kinyi wanted to deal with them, they would not even have the ability to resist, and they would only be easily defeated and ravaged by Kinyi. Therefore, when Kinyi does not provoke them, it is best for them not to come to Kinyi for trouble, otherwise, there will be no good fruit to eat. Haha, you have all solved the opponent, the speed is still quite fast. Chiba walked out and saw that the four of Kakashi had finished the battle, and couldn't help but grab his silver hair, revealing a bright smile, a harmless look of humans and animals, without the slightest majesty. Hearing Chiba say this, the four of Kakashi were speechless and almost vomited blood. You know, Kinyi is the fastest to solve the opponent, and the guy who came to help actually said such words. Isn't this mocking them? After seeing Chiba's strength, Karama Tongshan was not happy, but he did not dare to say anything, and did not want to stay here, so as not to give Chiba more opportunities to sneer. The robes here are solved, let's go back to regain our lives. Karama Tongshan spoke, not looking at Chiba. His attitude was still a little cold. However, now that he is in front of everyone, he has no proud capital and does not dare to continue to pretend. Tongshan, you have injuries on your body, don't you need to deal with some wounds? Uchiha Mina looked at Karama Tongshan's blood-stained clothes, couldn't help but be a little worried, and asked. After all, they are teammates in the Dark Squad, and they care about each other, and that is how they should be. No need, it's just a little skin trauma, it's not a big deal, I've stopped the bleeding, Karama said indifferently and walked towards the distance. Chiba, Kakashi, Uchiha Mina, and Moonlight Nari were not injured, only Karama Tongshan suffered some minor injuries, and it was not a big deal. The Chiba Five returned to the village on the border of the Land of Fire, where they rested for the night before returning to Konoha. 3 days later, the five of Chiba gathered in Hokage's office. The gaze of the 3 generations of Hokage fell on the 5 people of Chiba, full of gratification, revealing a happy smile. The 5 of you have done a good job, and it is rare to be able to complete this mission in such a short time. Ape Flying Sun said. Naruto-sama, originally those robes are not difficult to deal with, we can solve them casually, but their leader is 4 middle shinobi, which makes it difficult a lot. Karama Tongshan spoke, giving crucial information. What? There are still 4 middle ninja among this robe? Hearing Karama Tongshan say this, the 3 generations of Hokage shook and showed a surprised look, unable to believe it. For Naka Shinobi led a robe, that strength is very strong, and it is definitely not a simple matter to deal with them. However, the 5 Karama Tongshan not only did not be defeated by this robe, but were able to solve the robe, which was definitely a very difficult thing and difficult to do. Even if a special shinobi leads them to sweep away the robes, it is not an easy thing to solve the robes. At the same time that Ape Fei-Ri was surprised, he was also relieved. Fortunately, the 5 little guys in front of him were fine, otherwise, the village would have suffered a huge loss. I really didn't expect that those robes were actually instructed by Zongnan to disrupt the stability of the border of the Fire Country, and it seems that there are also masterminds behind the scenes, Ape Fei-Ri said with a sigh. Since the robe was instructed by the 4 middle ninjas, it is a normal thing that there are masterminds behind the 4 middle ninja, otherwise, these people would not have come to disrupt the border of the Fire Country. Thinking of this situation, Ape Fei-Ri Chop thought a lot in his heart and guessed a few targets, but he couldn't be sure, and he needed to investigate. After all, those who can do this kind of thing will definitely not easily leave clues, and they must pay some ninja mercenaries to do this kind of thing, and will not leave a direct handle. Naruto-sama, it's actually not 4 middle shinobi, but 1 special upper shinobi and 3 middle shinobi. Kinyi scratched his hair, laughed awkwardly, and spoke. What? And a special shinobu meddling in this matter? Hearing this, Ape Fei-Ri was shocked again and couldn't believe it. If it is said that the 5 people of Karama Tongshan can deal with 4 middle ninja, there are some possibilities, then it is difficult or even impossible to deal with 1 special upper ninja and 3 middle ninja. However, Chiba and they defeated a special upper shinobi and 3 middle shinobi, which is definitely not a matter of luck, but has a strong strength, otherwise it would be impossible to do it. You are talking nonsense, it is clear that there are 4 middle ninja, can it be that you want to say that you killed a special upper ninja alone? Karama Tongshan turned his head, glared at Chiba, and said coldly, obviously not believing. Tongshan believes that even if Chiba's strength is strong, it is impossible to compete with special shinobi. I'll kill special shinobi, can't I? Kinyi said unceremoniously, not being modest at all. If Chiba just defeated Naka Shinobu, with Kurama Tonshin's character, he would definitely feel that he had the most credit and would put on a self-righteous stinky face. Kinyi was originally unhappy with Kurama Tongshan, so he didn't want to see the other party take the first-class credit, so he naturally had to report that he killed a particularly good forbearance. Moreover, seeing Kurama Tonshin's unhappy expression, Chiba will feel very refreshed, which is the most critical. It's up to you, don't say that the killing is particularly forbearing, even if you want to defeat, you can't do it. Kurama snorted coldly, appearing very disdainful. Kinyi's previous opponent was particularly tolerant, and he killed his opponent, I can testify to this. Uchiha Mina spoke. Seeing Mina testify, Chiba's killing of a particularly forbearant thing is no longer just a speculation, but a fact. I really didn't expect Kinyi, you little fellow, your strength is already so strong, it is really unexpected that you can actually kill a special shinobi. 8th Fei Riko looked at Kinyi and said with a smile, making waves in his heart, and it was difficult to calm down. A little guy who is less than 6 years old has the ability to kill special shinobi, which is an ancient and rare thing, and it has never even happened. Haha, that's just a fluke, I just took advantage of the other party's underestimation of the enemy, and then seized the opportunity to kill the other party. Kinyi laughed, but a little modest, not so arrogant and arrogant. In short, you completed the task beautifully this time, I will order it down and reward you well. 8th Fei Richop said, looking very happy. When he was not on a mission, Kinyi's life became calm again, there were no waves, and there were almost no other things every day except patrolling and cultivating. If there was time, Kinyi would go to Mitarashi Red Bean and teach her to cultivate, and after a long time, they would naturally have a lot of feelings. Time is in a hurry, half a year has passed, Kinyi is already in his early 6th, because his physique has not increased significantly, and his strength has not progressed very well. However, at his age, reaching this level is already very devilish. And now Kakashi, who is in his early 80s, is still growing strongly. In Konoha village, Kakashi and Chiba are known as Konoha twins, and may be called the 2 youngest kami shinobi in the history of the village. Moreover, the villagers received rave reviews for the 3 masters of the Kimo family, and felt that the Kimo family was incredible. At this time, Chi Mu Shuumao, who had gone out on a mission and successfully completed countless tasks, failed in this mission. Kimo Shuumao could have successfully completed the task, but seeing that his partner was in danger, he could not make up his mind and watched his partner die. In such times, Konoha village requires every ninja to complete the mission as the first criterion and never give up the task. In the end, after some mental struggle, Kimo Shuumao still chose to give up the task and go to rescue his partner. It was because of his decision that the mission failed and the village suffered great losses. Because the village suffered huge losses, countless villagers condemned and insulted Chi Mu Shuumao and nailed him to the pillar of the sinner. After Kimo Shuumao returned to the village, he was subjected to countless insults and condemnations, and endured great pressure, which could only accumulate in his heart and could not vent it. And the companions he rescued from danger, likewise unable to understand him, could not forgive him for this behavior, and joined the camp of condemnation. Being treated like this made Kimo Shuumao's psychological pressure very great, almost making him a different person. After Kimo Shuumao returned to the village, although he did not go out much, the kind of invective gossip still flew into his ears like wings. Some villagers even came to their homes and abused him and condemned him outside. Seeing his father suffering from this kind of treatment, anger rose in Kinyi's heart, and he could not tolerate this kind of thing. Even if my father gave up the mission, it was to rescue his partner, and he couldn't bear to see his companion die, is it wrong to do so? Chiba could not tolerate this kind of behavior, rushed out of the doorway, and yelled at the villagers outside, with anger on his face, which could erupt at any time and frantically attack these ignorant villagers. What's the use of being a ninja if you don't save your partner or are desperate to complete the mission? This is the ninja spirit you want to see. If you don't even pay attention to your partner and don't care about the life and death of your partner, then are you worthy of becoming a ninja? You are not even as good as waste. Kinyi looked angrily at these indignant villagers, and did not have the slightest politeness, and made a critical rebuke. The villagers standing outside the Kimo family courtyard fell silent when they heard Kinyi's angry scolding, and no one spoke. Chiba's words made sense to a certain extent, but it was impossible to persuade the villagers to forgive Kiki Shuumao and stop condemning it. In their opinion, Kimo Shuumao let the mission fail and the village suffer huge losses, which is the most undeserved. So what, shouldn't he be condemned for causing the village to suffer huge losses? That is, he is too self-righteous, even if it is to rescue his partners, he cannot let the village suffer such losses. If even ninjas are not disciplined and do not follow orders, then what kind of discipline is there? After a period of silence, these villagers reacted and spoke angrily, unable to accept Kimo Shuumao's behavior at all. Seeing that these villagers set off another round of angry scolding and condemnation, Kinyi was really helpless, did not think of his own mouth to escape, and these villagers were not convincing at all. Chiba didn't bother to pay attention to these ignorant villagers, turned back into the courtyard, closed the door tightly, and walked towards the hall. After Kimu Shuumao returned to the village, he stayed at home during this time and rarely went out. At this time, Kiki Shuumao and Kakashi were both sitting in the hall. Both of them remained silent, did not speak, and did not want to talk more. Kinyi walked into the hall and saw the two who were silent, and there was helplessness in his heart. It is really a difficult thing to persuade Kimu Shuumao not to cut himself because of this matter. Father, you don't have to feel guilty about this matter, always blame yourself. I think what you did is not wrong. If you change to me, my choice will be the same as yours. Kinyi walked to Kimu Shuumao's side and spoke, persuading the other party. Hearing Kinyi's words, Kimu Shuumao was surprised, raised his head, looked at his son. There were many emotions in his heart, and his eyes were still full of helplessness. He still couldn't understand why the villagers couldn't accept this kind of thing, because he terminated the mission and chose to rescue his partner, and he was insulted and condemned countless times. Chiba, do you really recognize my approach and think it's right for me to do so? Kimu Shuumao looked at Kinyi and asked. Now, his heart is close to the point of collapse, and someone needs to recognize him, so that he can support it, otherwise, he will really be crushed by this cycle.